Hello everyone, in today's video we're going to do some reckless flying in one of my favorite places in the world to do reckless flying. And this is lovely Eagle County Regional Airports. This is way out in Colorado. Aspen, Colorado is actually south of us. Denver, Colorado is that way. And what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and take off, turn around, and rip through this amazing canyon that exists on the other side. The aircraft we have chosen to do this one, of course, is the built-in F4 Phantom. This is a fabulous plane for this. The F-14 is a lot of fun to do this in as well. And to be honest with you, some of the most fun flying you're going to get with this is something small and lightweight, like you like an ultralight. It kind of gives you an opportunity to kind of enjoy the scenery a little bit more than we're going to be able to with this particular flight here. Now, of course, we're looking at going NOE flying here, nape of Earth, which is very, very, very low altitude flying. And not only are we going to be doing that, but we're going to be coupling it with mountain flying, which when you put the two together, you actually get kind of a really, really hazardous sort of situation for us. And one of the problems, of course, is we're a bit heavy today. You can look over there on the right that we're about 14,000 pounds of fuel. And the reason I'm bringing so much fuel with us is it's going to allow us to cheat a little bit and use a little bit more afterburner than we would otherwise. So what is the secret to all of this? The secret, of course, is never put yourself in a position where you can't make a choice. Now, when we're coming down this canyon initially there, we know that canyons are always going to follow whatever the river wants to do. And when you start to see man-made things like superhighways like this is usually the universal sign that tells you that this is the path of least resistance when it comes to flying. So if you're kind of tearing through like this, you can see we're about to break the speed of sound there. Just keep that in mind, that will always be the clue where you need to turn next. Now, these first few turns are relatively simple here. Like I said, just kind of ripping along, not doing anything too crazy, keeping those control movements very, very gentle. But things start to get a little more interesting as we start moving a little bit further west here. Now, one of the things I notice is I'm doing about 550 knots here, which is a bit fast for our current cornering speed. Now, for those of you who don't usually fly high-performance jets all the time, I mean, who doesn't, right? But the key thing is our cornering speed is basically going to give us the maximum, I should say, the minimum circle for the quickest time here. So as we start getting these initial turns here, you always want to be very cautious about flipping upside down because then your world goes the other way. We want to try to stay around that 450 to 500 points so that we have maximum control here. Now, it's real tempting to go tearing into those little spots there, but the reality is, and you can already kind of see this coming up, is the fact that if we execute a turn here, we're basically slamming into the mountain on the other side there. The other thing is one more turn ahead, you can already start to see that we're starting to run out of room very, very quickly. Now, one of the maneuvers you saw me do earlier was flipping this thing upside down to allow us to be able to pull backwards nice and cleanly. That's a really, really fun little trick, but it's also incredibly disorienting. So generally what I try to do is keep one axis always up. So if I need to turn right, for example, I always know that I need to turn right. So now you take a look at this turn here. You know, we're starting to execute a pretty long turn. We're pretty confident that that turn right there is going to be leading us out of here. But I can tell you for a fact, there's no way we're going to make that turn over that mountain. So rather than try to take the canyon, I'm going to go right over the top like that. And we're just going to go ahead and proceed like we had before. Now, this is a pretty fun canyon here. And like I said, this is one of my favorites. The Grand Canyon is a ton of fun too, but this is just classic. And again, don't be afraid ever to go ahead and tear yourself upside down and go right out of one of these nasty spots. All right, there's kind of our checkpoint there, that lovely little town. And now we're going to go ahead and take a look at some low altitude flying for a moment here and see if anybody at Main Street is interested in talking to us. Now, one of the cool things here, too, is if we wanted a little bit better performance in terms of turning, we could actually bring our flaps in, but we'd have to go a little bit slower. And I kind of like the extra energy here because it just makes this a little bit safer for us. I wonder what these people are thinking right now. They're thinking, this guy should probably look up where he's going because he's going to smack into something if he doesn't pay attention. They're not wrong. They're not wrong. All right, here's a classic example of we're going to get ourselves in trouble. You can see already it starts to snap back that way, but it was the wrong mountain. It was actually a split in the highway we just saw here. Doing the best I can to avoid negative G's. Negative G's cause issues. There we are, nice and low once again. Kind of concentrating, sorry. Yeah, when you make these turns, just unwind the stick, bring the stick back to the center, and start bringing the power back in, just like that. And you can see we're keeping right around 400 knots there, which is plenty fast enough for this exercise. There we go. All right, start reeling the power back in. We got a little bit of a straightaway here. Hey, I wonder if that police car that's right off our 12 o'clock there has anything to do with this. All right, let's continue. It's going to open up just a little bit here. When you do this in a stunt plane, by the way, you can go very low. But for us, we're going to keep it kind of wide here to keep it a little bit safer. All right. Got a nice opening. And let's start to reel it in and do a little bit of low altitude work. Now, the trick to low altitude work is to always trim up. So if I let go of my controls, you can see the nose naturally has a tendency to glide up. The other thing to remember with low altitude work are birds. Fortunately, we don't have any birds here. Otherwise, we would have hit about 30 of them already. That's just kind of part of the fun. All right, looks pretty good, looks pretty good, looks pretty good. All right, let's get out of here. Gotta love the climb rate on this thing. Even though this is 1950s, 1960s technology, it takes very, very little effort to go ahead and execute a climb like this. Now, to come out of the climb, we're going to go flip ourselves back upside down. We're going to pull back. Remember, you don't want to push forward if you can help it. You tend to float out of your seat when you push forward, and that's very, very uncomfortable every time you've done it. All right, I'm going to go ahead and bring ourselves back out. Throttle down, correct my trim, a little bit of right rudder. This plane is a little under controllable. And look at that. What a run. Enjoy.